Hello, good afternoon. This is a great day. Thank you very much for joining us as we say goodbye to this building and celebrate a new library, an $18 million investment in our community. Libraries are very special. They're a part of the reason why people choose to live in a community. They're places where intergenerational connections are made, and libraries are vital to education and culture. They're vital and integral to employment and research. They're places of peace and pleasure. Libraries are the lifeblood of civilized society, and in Boston, we are the first in the nation publicly funded and have always been free to all. There are many people to thank for this project, and oftentimes it takes a village to design and construct something special. And Adams Branch Library is something special. I'd like to start by thanking our partners in the budget office, most specifically our former Chief of Staff, now current former Chief Financial Officer and current Chief of Staff, Dave Sweeney from Dorchester, Emma Handy, our new CFO from Dorchester, Justin Sterrett, Jack Hanlon, Eric Kaplan, and Dave Erkovich. These guys are instrumental in making this project happen. I'd also like to thank the staff at the Boston Public Library, most notably David Leonard, our president, Lissa Schwab, Allison Ford, Eamon Shelton, and Michael Colford. And I'd also like to acknowledge former state senator from Dorchester and trustee of the Boston Public Library, Linda Dorsina Forey. I'd like to thank the amazing design team of NADA, Michael Schombacher and Katie Faulkner. They listened to the community's concern, documented their wants and needs, and developed an amazing program. This was truly a community-driven effort, and we are very, very pleased that the community was so involved from day one and that the design team listened to every inch of what they had to say. Thank you to J&J Contracting. We look forward to a productive construction phase and an on-time and on-budget project. That's worth a clap. This building behind me was built in 1951. In 1951, Harry Truman was president. The minimum wage was 75 cents an hour. The average family income was $3,300. A gallon of gas cost 27 cents. John Hines was mayor. We have had 6 mayors since then. Marty Walsh is our 6th mayor since 1951. Since this building was built in 1951, not much has been done to drastically alter the original footprint. However, library services have dramatically changed. When I look back and I researched the capital investment in this space, it did not take long. Aside from some minor cosmetic fixes and upgrades, the largest investment was in 1989, 30 years ago, when the building received a modest air conditioning improvement and security upgrades. A lot has changed in HVAC, and a lot has changed in security. You fast forward from 1989 to 1996, and this building was cash flowed to receive an upgrade. That got kicked for 14 years. In 2010, the city received approval to move forward with the scope of a major renovation. But within 6 months, in January of 2011, that was put on hold and it was canceled. Now we are here in 2019, a long time since 1951, and we're ready to celebrate a new library. It's about time. For a while, this community, some libraries were considered for closure. And one of the leading advocates to stop that, one of the people who wanted to keep all of our libraries open and free to all, was then State Rep Marty Walsh. And he fought alongside Linda Dorsina Forey to keep these libraries open, and we are blessed to have that today. Marty Walsh is 100% committed to library services. As I said, he led the fight to protect other branches. He is committed to this project, and he is committed to this city. Please welcome our mayor, Marty Walsh.
Good job. Thank you, Pat. And I want to welcome everyone to the groundbreaking of the Pat Brophy Library. Appreciate you coming out for this event. Pat hasn't worked as hard on anything other than this library. I want to thank you. It's on time. No, but I appreciate. We absolutely love him for it. He's the best, and I want to thank Pat for his great work and the team at Public Facilities, Trish, and all the folks that are going to make sure this library happens. Thank you for all your great work. To David Leonard, I want to thank David, the president of the library, and the Friends of Adams Street Library. I want to thank all of you, the Friends groups, to all the residents here. Thank you for coming out. To the young people, we're doing it for you guys. I want to thank you as well. That's why we're building this library. To all of the elected officials that are here, I know a couple are going to come up and speak in a few minutes. I want to give a couple special shout-outs. One to Frank Baker and Anissa Sabi George, who voted to make sure the state in the budget, a couple budget cycles. So thank you very much for that. I want to thank Danny Hunt, the state representative for this neighborhood, and Danny Cullinan, the rep from next door, who also worked in my office at the time that the libraries were talking about closing libraries in Boston. And I want to thank them because they get us money at the state as well to help support our library. So I want to thank the representatives for their great work. And I appreciate Pat giving me credit for back in the day when some of the libraries were going to be closed and saying I was a leader. I wasn't the leader. Linda Docina-Foy was the leader in that effort to make sure the libraries weren't closed. And not only were they not closed, we're actually renovating all of them that were going to be closed. So thank you, Linda, for what you've done. This is an exciting day for this neighborhood. I also want to give Pam Carver a shout out as well, Pamela Carver, who lives down the street, worked for me at the State House, works at the library now, Nationwide Church. Thank you, Pamela, for what you do. 3 years ago, we began a planning study for this library. Our goal was to create something unique in the needs for the neighborhood, to make sure that it would fit in with the community. That's exactly what this new library represents. As you heard, Pat, the old library was built in the 50s. It looks like it. It served its purpose, though. There are still people inside using the library right now as we're out here speaking, and it was an important asset to our neighborhood. It's an important asset for our seniors that live in the neighborhood and that walk to the library. It's an important asset for our young people that live in the communities that are here today. It's an important asset for the school, Kenny School next door. That they'll have an incredible library in the neighborhood, and the Murphy down the street, and St. Anne's down the street, and St. Brendan's across the way. All the different schools in the neighborhood, the Henderson down the street. All the different schools in our neighborhood now, the kids we're going to have a state-of-the-art library they can walk to and be able to call their own, and a home for them, which is really amazing. I did a flyby. Pat set up the flyby for you for the library. It's a little early. It's not Aer Lingus. But this investment of $18.3 million was going to create new technology inside the library, community space and meeting space for the neighborhood and for organizations. Interactive areas for our young kids to really have a children's area, a children's play space inside the library, a beautiful outdoor courtyard space, sustainable design. It's certainly a 21st century library that we're building here on Adams Street, and that's something that this neighborhood certainly deserves. I'm not going to go into the history of 1951. It's a long time since we've done this, but let me just say a couple more quick things. We've seen every time that we renovate a library, we've seen the usage of that library, the people that go into that library go through the roof. Many years ago when the city was talking about closing libraries, there was a decline in usership of the libraries. Fast forward about 10 years later, 11 years later, people thought libraries were a thing of the past. And there's a resurgence in libraries, and we're seeing in all our libraries throughout the city of Boston where more and more people are using the resources in those libraries. So it's exciting to see. And we're making investments throughout the whole city, not just here in Dorchester, but we're making $127 million in 22 different projects across 17 different libraries across the entire city of Boston. And we've been able to do this, break grounds, cut ribbons, and build new libraries in a lot of different neighborhoods, and we're going to continue to do that because it is important. It's important to make sure that people have access to the internet and understand how important it is. And it's free. And that's the most important part of this, having a free library for all of us. So I just want to say to all of you here today, thank you for being here. I'm excited about this library. Obviously, I served as a state rep here for 16 years, and it's a lot of pride. When I refer to my district, even though I represent the whole city now, I always go back to being a rep. It was a great time it was a great neighborhood to be a rep in. I love being a state rep here. I love being the mayor here, and I'm so happy that we're here today, breaking ground on a library that's true for all these young people that are here today. So thank you very much.
So thank you, Mayor, very much. Our next speaker is a gentleman who has come to every single one of our project meetings. He sat and met with the community. He has been integral to the design of this. He has built many libraries and is doing a fantastic job with our system. The Preston Public Library President, David Leonard.
What a great crowd. Thank you for turning out. If there's one thing that I've learned in my tenure that I'd want to single out, either as head of the library or in the years leading up to that, it is how much and how deeply all of our neighborhoods love their branch libraries. Yes. And so I'd like, first of all, to thank Mayor Walsh for this project and for the host of investments we heard about across the library and across the city. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, represented here by Linda Dorsina-Fori, and the whole staff, we are thrilled to be here marking this very important milestone with the official groundbreaking as we move from design into construction. Our library values its neighborhood branches as an essential part of one BPL system. Each is unique, each with its own team of great staff members, each a unique community with unique needs, hopes, and aspirations. There are many staff people here, both current and past, some of whom I got to meet earlier, so please join me in giving them a warm round of applause for long years of work here in Adams Street. So we heard that the contractor is on board, they're ready to get started, and we really look forward to reopening, and our current projection is early 2021, and we'll develop a formal timeline as the general contractor gets started. In the meantime, our great staff will be working at other locations, doing outreach in the neighborhood, and throughout the closed period, you're also all free to use the other 25 branches in the Central Library, but especially Lower Mills, Field Corner, and Codman Square as the nearest locations. The Lower Mills branch just had an interior refresh and opens this Saturday, when the branch here officially closes on Friday. And then please keep a lookout for Dudley's reopening early next year. This was truly a design that got better with each iteration and is the product of the efforts of the architect, our City of Boston colleagues, and Jim and Alistair in particular, the library staff led by our project team of Allison and Lissa, and most importantly, the staff, the community, and the friends of the branch. Thank you for all being part of the process. We look forward to a project which will deliver a modern and dynamic branch that helps us deliver on our reinvigorated mission, a library for the 21st century, focused on books and reading, gathering space and exciting programs, information access, and all-important skills development services, an opportunity to preserve, to celebrate, and access our history. Thank you all for being here and for helping to celebrate this great milestone.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to invite our District City Councilor, Frank Baker, up to speak.
Thank you, Pat. I'm just here to thank Pat, thank the mayor, thank David Leonard, thank all the people that work to get us here this day. Tricia Lyons. Tricia is going to be the work that she's already done. She's really going to start working now. So let's give it up for Tricia Lyons. When I was first elected, the mayor and Pat spoke about it briefly. When I was first elected, the budgets were about people being laid off and libraries closing and different things happening. And to fast forward now, I'm in my 8th year, and this last budget was about, you know, new libraries opening, renovations in libraries, investment in schools, and just a lot of investments. And we're not talking layoffs. It's just it's a testament to this mayor, to this administration, and I just want to make sure people know that that's what's happening in the city. We're in a 8-year span, we're the position we're in. It's just a really, really great spot. And I also want to thank the women that advocated for this tree right here. We brought it back to the, yeah, that's right. Because libraries are more than just the books, and it's about people gathering and people getting to know each other. That's how we form a community around this space here. This tree has been in this community for, I would say, 100 years, and I think it was a really good move to advocate for it, and thank the mayor for saying, yeah, I think we should save the tree. So those are my thank yous. This is a great night for me to actually see something being built in the district, things that we've worked on for 8 years. We've talked about this night right here, and we're finally here, and I'm thrilled to be here with everybody. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. You are correct. The mayor is not only a lover of libraries, but he is also a lover of trees. I just have to say that for my good friend, Commissioner Ryan Woods from this community, who was just recently appointed Parks Commissioner for the city. And while this is a great event, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at the Hemi is going to be Joshua Tree. We're going to have a great party down there. It's going to be wonderful weather, so please come back and join us for that tomorrow as well. I also wanted to invite up our state representative for the district, my good friend, Representative Dan Hunt.
Thanks, Pat. And David, you and your team did a really great job. I live just up the street and came after work to a number of meetings, and Frank talked about the tree, and it just states the commitment to the process. So the planner and the staff had one idea, and the community kind of went back and forth, and I really feel like this design is spectacular, and we've got a building that doesn't look like a bomb shelter. We're going to have something that's state-of-the-art and really going to be an asset to my property value, so thank you. Yeah. I want to acknowledge my mom, who's over here, and yeah, sure. And I mention her because, like many of you, she dragged us up here to read after school or to pick up the free passes to go to the aquarium or the science museum. And I recognize a lot of moms that volunteered up here, so I want to thank you. Yeah, sure. And lastly, the mayor really has invested in the things that matter to quality life in our city. We look around, our parks are in great shape, libraries. We're going to let fly over Pat. So just really great shape. This is a world-class city, always has been, but this mayor is spending the money to make sure that everyone knows it. Lastly, who's got a pool? Who's got a pool? Anybody? Swimming pool? You do? Where do you live? Can we all come to your house? No? All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Rep. We also wanted to invite our friend Representative Dan Cullinane up to say a few words as well. Rep.
Thank you very much. There's not much to be said other than this is an exciting day for the entire neighborhood. It's an honor to share this area with Representative Hunt. My district is literally just on the other side, and I would just say this is the library that I went to growing up, and I am just so beyond words excited that the library that my kids are going to go to is going to be a state-of-the-art facility right in the neighborhood. And our libraries are truly a place that we can take pride in our community, and it's so important that this investment's being made. I can't say enough about the mayor's commitment to making this happen, to the work that our city council has done to make this happen, and it is truly an exciting day to call Dorchester home, but in particular to call this area home. And we're so excited for the work that so many people put in and day out at the meetings, to whether it's to save the tree or really to make the facility what it is. I mean, that's a lot of work, a lot of advocacy. Yes wasn't always the answer, and so you deserve tremendous accolades for really making this state-of-the-art facility happen. And for all the kids, congratulations. Use it, bring your friends, it's for you. Congrats.
So we have a lot of support from our elected officials here, and we do want to bring up one of our own, Councilor at Large, Anissa Rasabi George.
Thank you very much. I'll be brief because I wasn't planning on speaking, but since all the electeds went, since the boys went, I figured I'd come up too. I just want to congratulate the families in particular that have paid particular attention to this library to make it a special community without a new library that's going to be an even more special community once this library is done over. So I look forward to not just the groundbreaking today, but the ribbon cutting in the not too distant future. And I think that Tricia will make sure of that, that we'll be here for that great celebration, and the weather will be just as nice as it is today on that day. Those of you that have summer reading, although the library is closed, it is not an excuse not to get that summer reading done. We have our own pile of books at home piling up for the kids, so make sure you get it done. Have a wonderful summer, and I look forward to seeing you across the summer, but especially when we open this library, you can tell me all about the books you read this summer. Thank you very much. Thanks.
So our final speaker is someone that we all know and love very well. It's the branch librarian, Kate Brown.
I have notes. In case well, this is an amazing opportunity. Thank you. Can you hear me, Dan? No? Okay. Okay. I'm not used to this. First, I'd like to acknowledge our Friends of the Library group. This beautiful reading garden was sponsored and planned and worked for by Grace, Peggy, Mary, Joanne, Madeline, and Donna, who are over there tonight. They have supported the library. They're the best friends group, bar none, and they're threatening to retire while we're closed, so please help me in not letting them, okay? They also created this, did I say that already? Also, one of the beautiful things about working for the library is being able to talk books, do story times, help people do their resumes and apply for jobs. And it's just such a privilege to be able to do that. And our patrons at Adams Street are just amazing. So many of them here, I just want to give you a hand clap because thank you. And I'm going to keep this very short because there is pizza and cake, but they've promised to save me a piece of cake, okay? Thank you. When I was cleaning out my desk drawer in preparation for closing, I found a letter written by Mr. Tom Leahy, who should be here. It was dated 2010. And he wrote it in support of the Adams Street Library because they were considering closing libraries at that time. And I just think about what a different world we live in now. Thanks to Mayor Walsh and Pat and Tom, the libraries are burgeoning. It is a with Dudley, you've heard it, Dudley and Fields Corner and Lower Mills and it just goes on. So the support of libraries is unprecedented, and I'm thrilled, we're all thrilled that Adams Street is being included in this wonderful bounty of library support. So thank you. Okay. Thank you. I think it's cake time. So.
Thank you very much. So our program has concluded. We're going to go out front and do a ceremonial groundbreaking. If we could get all the kids up in front as well, we'd like to get a great big team picture with everyone that can fit in. Thank you very, very much for being here.
Ready? 1, 2.